Hello and welcome to Talking Games, the match build-up to Manchester United against West Ham United in the FA Cup on Tuesday evening. Gonzo, can I get as always, your thoughts on your opponents?
Well, they're having an improved season, it has to be said. Certainly, by their own lofty standards, not quite good enough. But I thought he was on his way out, if the truth be known, Gio. I'm talking about Solskjaer here. I don't never really struck me as a top class manager, so I've been surprised, and I've got that. Well, wait, I was going to say I've got that wrong. Let's see if he wins a trophy. But he's doing really, really well, much better than I thought. He seems to be getting a tune out of a lot of the players. He seems to have got Pogba playing as well, which is not an easy thing to do because Pogba plays well when Pogba wants to play well, and it appears that now Pogba's playing well when Ole wants him to play well. So that's obviously a very, very good thing for them. And I do think it's made a massive difference to the team and to the central midfield area, because you just get the impression that Fred and McTominay in the middle, even though Fernandes is just ahead of him, is not going to quite be enough. He brings an extra bit of magic to that midfield area. And I do think that has actually been as pivotal as anything else to their resurgence, let's say, or the difference between them being a top 6 team and a top 2 team, if you like.
Yeah, I think they're doing all right this season. I think it's a massive improvement. Before you told Man United fans there's a good chance to finish ahead of Liverpool this season, they'd have got very excited and assumed they were going to win the title. Fortunately for them, Manchester City have banged back on track and do the things. I've always been sort of lukewarm on Ole. I've never thought he was a bad manager. Is he a manager good enough? Is he sort of up there with Pep and Klopp? No, I don't think he is. But I certainly think he's a decent standard Premier League manager, and he's doing well there. It's not an easy club to manage, not just the players they've got and the expectations, but it's the media that surrounds as well. And actually, I think Man United are sort of benefiting from perhaps what I would describe as almost like a media canny manager. There's no big character there with him. He's quite a demeanour, comes across as quite boring in interviews, but actually it's not that bad a thing. I think the media sort of got to Van Gaal a little bit. We know what Jose Mourinho's like. And actually, I think now they've got a manager there that just tries to keep the spotlight away from the club, because there's always something going on at Man United. It's never just calm. There's always something. And I think he's actually doing his best just to try and shut it up a little bit and just keep the pressure off. And they're doing okay. They're sort of probably the underrated team in the Premier League this season, actually. They're certainly not getting the plaudits from where they are. And I know the Man United of old should be better than what they are now, but this isn't Man United of old. It's been a long time since Man United were the Man United of old, so he's getting back on track slowly but surely. Needs to be backed better in the transfer market though, and that whoever sanctioned Van der Beek needs to be shot really, because clearly Solskjaer don't want him. It's just a waste of
maybe Sullivan bought him.
Perhaps. Are they title contenders? They're currently, as we speak, they're 5 points behind Man City. City do have a game in hand, however.
No chance, no. They've done well to get back to where they are, but they're a proper striker and a central defender away from being up to where Man City are now and where Liverpool have been in the past couple of seasons. I think you can mitigate Liverpool. They've lost so many players and they've got a small squad, Liverpool. Small squad in terms of world class. They're world class players. Liverpool is all concentrated around the first team, if you like. You lose Van Dijk, and you have to start moving your midfield around. Then different. Then it's difficult for them. So yeah, Man United to get up to Man City's level, which I think I watched them play. I don't know. Foden scored a beautiful goal.
They just beat Liverpool.
They did just beat. They just beat Liverpool. So I watched all the highlights at once, basically. So I wasn't sure which day was which. Yeah, but they just beat Liverpool, didn't they? And looked good again. And Sterling looks back up to pace, and so on and so forth. So they're a little way off of that, Geo. They're about, I say a little way. They're about £200 million off of that. If you got that item behind the sofa.
I think they need a bit of luck in order to be considered title contenders. I mean, on paper, they are. They're 5 points ahead in the second place in the league, 5 points behind top. They are, on paper, title contenders. But you just don't get that feel about them. I think Man United have rode their luck a few times this season. But I say that so often, it's almost becoming consistent. And you can't just consistently ride your luck. It's a bit like West Ham, I guess. Eventually, you just got to say, well, it's no longer luck. This is what they deserve. They are getting out the games what they deserve to get out. But they still need some more to go in their favour for Man United and against other teams as well. They need something to happen to Man City that allows them to capitalise. They need the bad luck with injuries at Anfield to continue in order to stay ahead of them and stuff. I think they're a little bit away from title contenders. But, the right recruitment in the summer, they could be up there. As long as they stay in the top 4, I think, while that might seem such a low target, I think if they can stay in the Champions League places and, it sort of knocks a few of their rivals out, especially now, this summer with the climate of the world and stuff, money is going to be key. And it's sort of, we talk about how pivotal it is to remain in Premier League and not get relegated this season compared to other seasons. Well, it's the same for Champions League. You want to be in the Champions League this year so you can take advantage of the clubs that aren't, like Spurs and Arsenal, who are probably not going to get Champions League football. It gives Man United an opportunity. Coming round to this competition then, this is a competition, FA Cup, that normally the Sky Sports top 6 does miss a little bit. Bearing in mind, we've just said that they're not title contenders. They're not in the Champions League. Does Ollie need to win the FA Cup?
Well, does he need to? No, it would be nice to. Ollie can't think that he's not a title contender. He has to keep the pressure up on Man City. So that's why it's actually more important, I feel, for them to actually win the Europa Cup. And I would say that because I don't want them to take the FA Cup seriously, of course. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for Arsene Wenger for a number of years to win the FA Cup. That's not enough. That's not what these big teams want. It's nice, and they do seem to hoover up quite a lot of them along the way. But League Cup, FA Cup, I'm afraid not anymore. It won't be enough. That being said, here's the thing. If he finished second and didn't win the FA Cup, he'll keep his job. I'll tell you now, if he won the FA Cup and finished 5th, I think he'd be gone. So actually, the FA Cup is not that important for him.
Yeah, but I don't know, because I think the difference is Arsene was winning the FA Cup with his squad. This still isn't all his squad. He was crying out for Jadon Sancho in the summer. He's crying out for a centre-back. Never got either of them. And I always think, you judge a manager when he's fighting with his own sword. I don't think that's what all he's got yet. He's still got a bit of Van Gaal's squad there. He's got a bit of David Moyes' squad there. He needs to shape that team to be the way he wants it to be before we judge him. And I think second in the FA Cup, it'll do. It'll do for next season. It's building, isn't it? It's building blocks. It's not quite what they want to aspire to, but it's heading in the right direction. It's a trophy in the cabinet for them. So even if he does get sacked next season or something, you can look back at his time and say, well, at least I won something, which is more can be said for other managers that have succeeded. So Alex Ferguson. Anyway, players you admire. Last question on Man United. Players you admire.
Obviously, Rashford, clearly. Fernandes, he's obviously a very, very good player. He scored a really good goal in the highlights package that I just watched. Swept Everton, that was it. I really like Greenwood. I know he doesn't feature that much. I know he was a naughty boy, but possibly the most talented player at the club. Actually, sometimes I look at him. I don't think people have even seen what he can do yet. From what I have seen of him, from what I have seen, particularly his reserve footage and his, like when England released stuff from the training ground and stuff like that. I think him and actually Greenwood and Foden are the two young outstanding English players of the generation, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, I struggle to praise Pogba because I hate his attitude. I think he stinks, really, actually, that he turns up when he wants to. And obviously Shaw's playing well now. He's a real threat, which I think is going to tie into nicely when you ask about our team selection there as well. McTominay is actually having a good season. He's scoring some goals. He's almost becoming a regular goal scorer. Dare I say it, for Man U. They've got some decent players, mate. I can't help but thinking they got the wrong goalkeeper between the sticks, though. I
think Luke Shaw's possibly the best left back in the league. Him and James Justin, I think, are the two best left backs in the league this season. I don't think Shaw will start though against us. I think he'll go with Tellez. He might start Diallo as well, which will be interesting to see how he gets on. See if he's up to what the hype is all about and stuff. Can't say I know too much about him. I still think Maguire is one of the most underrated centre-backs in the league. I say underrated, he cost 80 million, but I think he gets far too much stick from non-Man United fans. I think he doesn't help himself making that big error against Everton, keeping everybody on side and stuff, but I do think he's a solid centre-back, and he's a better partner in alongside him. I've always liked McTominay. I think Rashford's the most hot and cold player in the league. It frustrates me watching him. 1 minute, he looks world class. The next minute, you barely notice him. It's same with Martial, really. Martial has his purple patches. Then he just looks poor. Bruno Fernandes is utter class as well. I almost feel a bit sorry for him. He's almost like the victim of his own success. He's like, because he scores so much penalties, it sort of gets used against him. Oh, yeah, but he goes with pens and stuff. But actually, you take that away, he still scores plenty of goals and gets a ridiculous amount of assists as well. I think he's a fabulous footballer. I really enjoy watching him. Some of the passes he does during the game is just real class and stuff. And I always like a midfielder with that sort of creativity about him. But anyway, let's move on to West Ham, because over the last few games, we've not really had much to talk about when it comes to the lineups, but we've got plenty to talk about tonight, not for good reasons, though. Obviously, Jesse Lingard is ineligible. He could have played against Man United if we had agreed. In the cup competitions is different to the league competitions. You can actually play against your parent club in the cup, should we have agreed it. But because he featured against Watford, he's cup tied. So that never came into consideration. So no Jesse Lingard. We still don't know about Souček and Antonio. But before we discuss the players, Gonzo, before we discuss personnel, what formation would you like to see? Is it sticking with 4 at the back for you? Or would you be tempted to switch to 3?
That is interesting. I hadn't even considered it, in all honesty. I had my team in my head, actually. Yeah, maybe, actually. Maybe. That's not what I'm going to go with, because I've not given it any thought. I've been thinking about it for the past 10 minutes. But actually, that's a really, really good shout. Maybe this is a good call to do that. That's very good. The only thing that would concern me would be down that left-hand side. I might be wise to double up down there and do the old Fredericks thing, actually. So I'll go with what I thought, if you don't mind. But I'm not poo-pooing that. Yeah, I think if I'd have had half hour to think about it, I might have come up with 5 at the back and thought that was a good idea.
I would stick with 4 at the back for this one, because I think the defence have been playing well. I don't have any. The defence hasn't been the issue. When we've not played well against Liverpool and not played well against Fulham, the defence have come out with pass marks, if you like. The back 5 have done well. When we played Man United earlier in the season, I thought we were fantastic for the first 45 minutes, especially. I thought we were absolutely brilliant. So I'm keen to see us replicate that a little bit. In terms of personnel along your back 4 and your goalkeeper, then, who would you like?
Oh, the same. They would all be the same, mate, from the standard back 4 of Soufal and Dawson and Oggy, and, of course, Cresswell at left back.
And Lucas Fabianski in goal. In case there's Man United fans watching, going, well, what's your usual back 5 then?
We don't need a goalkeeper.
This is not very informative. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I thought you'd say that. That's why I just asked you one big question as to what you would do at the back rather than pick out the individual. Now this is where it starts to get a little bit tasty then. Now Thomas Souček, as it stands at the time we recorded on Sunday evening, he's suspended, but we've appealed. The committee hearing is tomorrow. We will find out late on tomorrow or Tuesday if he can play or not. Simple as that. I mean, how is Moyes meant to plan for this game? He's got to pick 2 11s, essentially, possibly even 3, depending on the fitness of our striker. He's got to pick 3 different 11s, possibly maybe even 4.
Well, this is why you keep as many of the same team as possible, because actually you make your provision. So for me, I probably would put Noble in there for this one. You make your provision. And then if it changes, then it doesn't matter, because Souček is so used to playing in that system, he will just drop in seamlessly. Everybody understands. You say to Noble, Mark, you're in pending the appeal, and you say the same. You say the same to Thomas. You say, just get ready, mate. Go to the appeal, to take your boots with you, so to speak. Actually, it's probably not. It's probably done by Zoom, the appeal. Now, there's probably no boots being taken or going into any committee. So, I think that's easy enough to prepare for. I think the striker one is slightly different, because only the club know how fit or unfit Antonio is. I think
the striker one's easy to prepare for, because for the exact reasons you've given, we know if he's going to make it on Tuesday or not. Now we know if Antonio's fit enough for Tuesday. You can decide what you're going to do with the striker. With the midfield one, the decision's out of our hands. It's not our call. Antonio is a club call. Even if the physio says, yeah, you could probably get an hour out of him, it's still up to David Moyes to risk him or not. Whereas Souček, we just haven't a Scooby. We've got to wait and see. And I think it's very, very difficult. I think almost when there's games like this, I don't know, there should be something in the the laws which stipulates you can play the next fixtures. I mean, it's then unfair on Man United, of course, but with the games so close together, which they have been all season, it's just a bit of a hassle. That's all. So midfield three. Well, actually, it depends how you want to line up your midfield. What would you like to see done if Souček is available?
Well, I'd have him and Rice in there, and I'd play Fornals as take Jesse Lingard out and put Fornals in. That's precisely what I would do there. Yeah.
See, I wouldn't have a number 10 in this, though. I know you might be thinking similar here. I'd be dropping Fornals in alongside Souček and Declan Rice. We were overrunning midfield. If Ollie's watching that against Fulham, I think I'll just run down the middle of the park against this lot. Happy days. I'd be putting Fornals in there too. Souček, Rice and Fornals. Now, if Souček is, well, we'll deal with that in a second. Your wingers and your striker, please.
I'll play Benrahma, and I'm going to play Fredericks to tie up that side, as we discussed earlier. I would start with Odebeko in this one, and I would have Antonio on the bench to bring him on. My only concern with that, if Antonio was fit, if I thought he was fit, I'd play Antonio. I want to play the strongest team possible here. I'm not looking to throw the game or give the youngster a chance or have a nice day out and all that. That's not the idea. But I'm not sure he is fit, so I think we need a lot of energy. So I would have Antonio to come on as a substitute, as if we're not doing well, which we probably won't be. My only concern is the Everton Cup game, where actually we took loads of strong players on the bench, and Moyes has shown form that actually, if he thinks, even if he has an inkling, he's not going to win the game, he won't even bring the substitutes on. That's my only worry. So it probably would be wise to start with Antonio. And yeah, Fredericks, I've said.
Yeah, the Antonio thing worries me, even if he is past fit. I mean, the funny thing is, he looked... he sort of missed all those chances against Palace. He was absolutely awful against Liverpool. Then suddenly he was decent against Villa. So it's almost like the midweek games that he turns up for. And it's the weekend ones he struggles with for some strange reason. So initially I'm thinking, I don't risk him for this one. He come off. Moyes is comparing as a precaution. Whether he's fit enough, I don't know. Part of me wouldn't risk him. I just wouldn't risk him. But at the same time, I want to see the strongest possible team. I want to win this game. So it's frustrating that we've got to decide between an 80% first team striker or gamble with something to protect him, kind of thing. I think my front three, I think I'd play Bowen up front, with Benrahma and possibly Lanzini on the wings. I want to see some sort of attacking threat from us. Now, the reason I would go Bowen is because I think he's actually okay at holding the ball up. I think he's actually all right at dribbling and stuff. And the alternatives is Yarmolenko, which I'm not very keen on at all, or Viskin Mipo, which I'm not against. I just think it carries a big risk if it goes wrong. If he doesn't play very well and stuff, you should possibly shatter the kid's confidence. But if there's any game that you want to give him or any place you want to play him, it's Old Trafford, where he chose to leave to go to West Ham for footballing reasons. Actually, you turn up and give him the football, he's going to say, see, I was right to leave, and I'm going to show you why you were wrong to, not offer me more money, not make mistake, kind of thing. He's got all the motivation in the world for this fixture, Mipo Odebeko. But if Souček was out, how would you?
I'd just drop Noble in there.
Just drop Noble in there. This where I'd bring in Fredericks. I would change it a little bit and have Noble in there instead of Noble in there instead of Souček. But I'd also bring in Fredericks over Lanzini, just because it would just be too slow otherwise, the team.
Yeah, I've got him in there anyway in mind, so it's the same thing.
It's difficult, isn't it? Normally we agree on the 11s recently, but it's tricky here.
It is.
Are you confident for this one?
No, it's very hard to be confident. They're really good. They've got some really good players. I'm not convinced that they don't want to win it, if you know what I mean. I think the Pogba one is good for us. I think our energy levels is a little bit of a concern, I've got to say. That being said, I thought we were out on our feet against Liverpool. I thought that's it. We've had enough this season in terms of fatigue levels. And look at us when we played Aston Villa. A couple of days later, they were back up again. So I think we were lethargic again against Fulham. I wouldn't rule it out that we're actually full of beans and up for this one. It's going to be interesting which team he picks. I think in many respects the message is really important here, because I have been upbeat and been very positive about lot that's happened. Even I would say from the point he came in last season, we got locked down. I wasn't having any of it about relegation. Any time we've lost, I've said it's fine, and so on and so forth. We'll get on it. We'll bounce back. The one time I got really, really annoyed was the Everton game in the Cup, because I just thought it sent out completely the wrong message. And I can take a defeat in this game. I'd rather not. But if I feel he's thrown the cup, that for me will really annoy me. It will really drag me down. I've got to be honest with you. In terms, I'll be annoyed as maybe other people were with a transfer window or losing to Liverpool or whatever the case may be. It's not. It is really important, the message that we send here. It's really important that we go for it. And so as he can, even if he loses, he can lose on us. He can hold his hands up and say, look, West Ham fans, I really had to go for that. I desperately wanted to win the FA Cup. You know what? We're going to have even more of a go next season. And I think if he does that, and even if we lose, I would think, okay, well, that's great. I believe him. If he puts out a Mickey Mouse team here, he's really got nowhere to go, because then we'll say, hold on, we've seen that and we've seen Everton. You just don't fancy the steer, mate. You know what I mean? We're not, and that will be tough, because obviously we're never going to win the league. I would really love to win a trophy. 47 now. I want to win a trophy. You know what I mean?
If he does throw it, if you want to call it that, if he does put out a weak side or a much rotated side, he puts a bit of pressure on himself to make sure that the league's a success. And when I say success, I'm talking 7th or higher in the league. He's then got to go do that to justify his squad rotation twice. Twice he would have just poo-pooed the cup a little bit. You've then got to really achieve somewhere else, and that is the league. That only leaves the league. But if he, like you said, if we put out the strongest possible 11, we go for it. We're just not good enough on that, because Man United are better. We sat here against Doncaster and said, if our players turn up 10 out of 10 with the right attitude, we win the game. Simple as that. Well, if Man United players turn up 10 out of 10 with the right attitude, they win the game. It's just because they have better players than us. But I don't think Ole will play his first 11 for this one. I think, like you said, he will believe he's in the title race right now. I think the reason they've got this far in the FA Cup, it's because in the previous round they had Liverpool, and there was a bit of pressure on Ole and Klopp going into it. And I think it forced both managers to take it a bit more serious than what they perhaps might have done should they have come up against a lesser team. Even if they came up against the likes of West Ham in the previous round, I think you might have saw a slightly more rotated Liverpool, a slightly more rotated Manchester United. So I wonder if we'll see that now. Or is it like almost too far into the competition that it's actually, we're not that far away from winning it now. We can keep going. But the last thing teams like, we think we've got it bad with lack of squad rotation, too much fixtures. When you've got a European campaign going on as well, it's even worse. So if he was to look at that all and think, I'm going to rest a few players, I'm going to try a few things, I'm going to put Telles in, I'm going to take Maguire out, I'm going to take out Wan-Bissaka, and I'm going to start Dan James. I might even start Juan Mata or something. If he starts doing all that, that would play into our hands a little bit. And I could understand why he would. And I'm hoping he does, to be honest with you.
Don't forget, Gio, the last game we played, we should have been 3-4-0 up at half time.
Well, this is why I'm optimistic.
Then he brought on the big guns. And then actually the next game they had after that within 3 days was in Europe, and they lost it and they went out. That is why they're not in the Champions League, because he basically didn't rest against West Ham. So, in many respects, it may well have worked for them, because actually they've gained some valuable points in the league, and look where they are. The risk against Liverpool worked for them, because actually were there any Premier League points up for grabs? No, but it was a rutting competition, and actually they were able to show that they had the biggest antlers. That is what rutting, isn't it? And I think maybe that's given them some more confidence in the league. So I guess it's worked. But Real Sociedad is looming. They got a double header coming up. They got massive fixture congestions. At some point, he is going to have to rotate. So you've got to then ask yourself, I actually had it up there. So what have they got? Okay, so they've got us. Then they got West Brom. Then they.
Well, you'll rotate for that one, won't you?
You just. I won't continue.
I'll send the kids out for that one. It's fine. We can play the first team against West Ham.
I was gonna list the rest, but you're quite right. That's the resting one. Yeah.
There goes. They haven't seen the benefits of no Champions League football yet, because they went out of the group stage just like the ones that went through the group stage. There's been no knockout games yet, so they haven't seen the perks yet, if there is any, of going out of the Champions League. But I think, when we played them at our place earlier on the season, I thought we were fantastic. I thought we were the better side. We were very unlucky not to be 2-3 up. And if it was for better finishing from Bowen, Allaire, and there was someone else that missed a big opportunity, there's 3 different players all fluffed it on the night. That's why I'm sort of tempted to keep Bowen. I just said put him up front. I'm tempted to keep him on the right because he absolutely ripped Tellez apart at the London Stadium. And I think Ollie will play Tellez for this one. I think he'll give him an opportunity to rotate Luke Shaw. So I'm quite confident. I say confident. Really? I'm optimistic. I've just got a good feeling because.
Oh, nice.
Do you know how you say Moyes doesn't lose 2 on the bounce?
League games.
Wait, we didn't lose the league game, right? But
that's true.
It felt like a defeat.
Yes.
I think Moyes had the demeanour of a team that just got beat. He was pissing down rain. He had that jacket on. He was looking a bit evil, weren't he? He was looking like he was. But I felt like he felt like we'd got beat. And when we played West Brom and we won 2-1, and he said, the boys aren't happy with that performance kind of thing. And we saw us get better. And I think the one slight positive only drawn against Fulham has got to be for us to up our game against Man United. We have to see almost like a repercussion of what was an under par performance by the whole team. Well, we've got to see them all step up their game a little bit. There's places up for grabs now. That hasn't been the case for a few games, but there's now 2 or 3 positions in that team where the shirt is up for grabs. Jesse Lingard's shirt's up for grabs. Someone wants it. Whoever's in there ahead of him on Tuesday night plays well. You bench Jesse Lingard. You probably won't. But that's what the message will be. You want to play on Monday. You want to play on Monday against Sheffield United, bottom of the league. Then you better perform. You've got to turn up. Anyway, can I get your final thoughts if you have any? Plus your score prediction. You're going to go for a draw. I want you to predict how it's going to play out.
Oh, this is a tough one. I said I thought about the questions you were going to ask. I haven't actually given this any thought. I think I
forgot something. Did you see earlier? Do you see who's on VAR for the game? Lee Mason.
I did. Oh,
he's from Manchester, I think. And it was him that told Mike Dean go send off Thomas Souček.
Well, they've got to be careful. I mean, they are going to have to be careful because
it could play in our favour. The pressure's on him. He's going to think, I've got to make sure no one thinks I don't have something against Man United.
Well, he does because the spotlight is going to be massively on him. I mean, the last thing those guys want is everyone in the Sky studio and the Match of the Day studio talking about them. And not just talking about them, not just saying that bloke up in the VAR, actually naming them as well. You wouldn't want that. If that was your job, you think, oh, crikey, you'd be avoiding the telly and that sort of stuff. How's it going to play out? I have a feeling. I have a feeling they're going to bring subs off the bench, mate, and they're going to. I will keep it tight, and they're going to bring subs off the bench and win it 3-1. That's what I think will happen.
It's 5 subs as well, FA Cup. So they just got
such strength in depth, and me. How often I predicted losses this season? What?
In theory, you can start with Cavani up front, and then off the bench bring off Martial, Rashford, Pogba, and Bruno Fernandes. If Van der Beek and Cavani aren't quite doing it for him,
and Cavani is in great. He looks really good at the moment.
Proper striker, isn't he? So, what was your score prediction? Sorry,
3-1 to Man United.
I'm going to say, if it goes to extra time, I don't think we look knackered against Fulham. This goes to extra time. I've got no confidence in our sort of, which is funny because fitness is a key aspect of our game and something that we're very good at. But I don't think we'll fancy it. And I think if it got to 85th minute, I think even David Moyes might be thinking, fucking rather not play the next 30 minutes here, boys. If I'm honest with you. Nah, bugger it. I'm going to say it. Man United 0, West Ham 1. I'm going to go for it. I've just got a feeling. I've got a feeling, Gonzo, that... Don't know why.
I hope you're right. Very much so.
Yeah, me too. I hope I'm right as well. Anyway, we'll disappear. If you enjoyed this preview, drop a like on it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Myself and Gonzo, Tuesday night. It's a 7:30 kickoff, so we'll be live at 6:25 on the channel with our build-up show, taking a look at Man United's team, West Ham's team, final thoughts, a little bit of a potential bet giveaway, interacting with the live chat as always. So join us at 6:25 on Tuesday, hopefully, for a West Ham win. Catch you in a bit.